Hey guys, welcome to my video. This is going to be a dark type video, trigger warning, letting you know right now it's about a serial killer, an accused serial killer, Billy Chimiermir. Now, if Billy is guilty of what they're saying he's guilty of, he would have more than 24 victims. This is such a horrible, horrible situation. In North Texas, there's a rest home. And this rest home, hold on, we'll get the name of it right here. Preston Place Retirement Community. Billy is said to have murdered several elderly people here and many other rest homes. He would pretend to be medical professional, janitorial, custodial, cafeteria worker, whatever he had to do to get in, and then he would smother elderly women and steal their jewelry and their cash and their belongings. Now, the scary part about this too is one woman reported her jewelry and cash missing while she was on vacation. When she came back, it was gone, and not long after, she was dead. And her son said her safe was gone after she died. Now, there are 2 wrongful death lawsuits. As of 2018, 2 women were allegedly killed by Billy Chimiermir at the Preston Place Retirement Community, according to the wrongful death suits. 2 civil lawsuits filed this week provide new details regarding the victim's suspected serial killer, Billy Chimiermir. Chimiermir, 47, is charged with 12 counts of capital murder in connection with the deaths of elderly women in Dallas and Collin counties. Now, these numbers have went up since these articles came out. Martha Williams, 79, and Ann Conklin, 82, were allegedly robbed and killed by Chimiermir at Preston Place Retirement Community, the lawsuits say. Now, this retirement center cost more than $3,000 a month for an apartment, okay? This rest home advertises that it has 24-hour surveillance security. Security officers, in the website and in the information that it gives, they say that they have security and that it's a gated community. And the lawsuit claims Preston Place failed to protect itself, residents, and inform their... The lawsuit claims Preston Place failed to protect itself, residents, and inform them of previous crimes that occurred in the community. Now, the families of the victims are saying that Preston Place lied to them because they were told, now, being that this was over $3,000 a month, that they were going to have 24-hour surveillance security, it's a gated community, didn't have a bad rep. They felt comfortable living there. These women are in their 80s and 90s. They cannot fight off a 40-something-year-old man who is capable of attacking them. He has no disability as far as we know of. So he physically gets on them with a pillow and smothers them to death, steals their jewelry, and leaves. Here's my question. First off, how'd you get in? Because the rest homes that I worked at, you had to have a badge or an ID card, and every so often it was updated. Now, they had to check it at the door. Now, since COVID, that has gotten a lot, more. But I don't know if this went on before. I think it happened before COVID. Anywho, even before COVID, rest homes are supposed to be checking doctors' badges, nurses' badges, the custodial. Everybody's supposed to be checked in communities like this. I worked at a rest home where people were paying about $400 a month to stay there about a month. And we had security. So if we had security, and we were a very poor county in North Carolina, okay? I mean dirt poor. If we had security, this place should definitely have good security at $3,000 a month or more. Yeah, they should have a good gated in, upscale community. Martha Williams moved to Preston Place May 11th, 2017. She picked the community because she thought it was a safe place for elderly residents that live alone. But less than a year after Williams moved in the community, she was allegedly killed by Chimiermir. She died March 4th, 2018. The lawsuit says Martha's daughter, Holland Williams, was unable to reach her by phone, so she drove to Preston Place to check on her. When Holland entered the apartment, she found her mother lying on the floor dead. 4 other women were killed before Martha. Eventually, 7 women in total would be killed in the community. The lawsuit says Billy Chimiermir's victims were susceptible to being targeted and killed for their valuables. The victims' families say the apartment management failed to take meaningful measurements and previously reported incidences and security in the community. According to legal documents, workers at the complex were not required to wear any ID badges, so residents were unaware if people were actually employees or not. What do you mean? At $3,000 a month, everybody should have been wearing an ID badge. We wore them, and we didn't cost that much a month. This is crazy. And the fact that the rest home had previous, reports to the police that their jewelry was stolen, their homes were broken into, they were attacked, whatever it may be, and the rest home did not go forth with the reports. They did not tell people about the reports. They should have been alerting everybody, but of course they won't because they don't want to lose money, and that's messed up. But that's how these businesses are. They don't want to sit here and tell, the community, hey, we've been broken into. Hey, we got a rapist over here or this or that, because they want more residents to come spend their money with them. Well, now you are known. Now you had a serial killer in Preston Place, and now you really look bad because you didn't take care of your patients, your residents. You didn't protect them. You didn't even check ID badges. You have a gated community. You don't have no security out there? Well, now I hope everybody knows that Preston Place is not the place for you to send your relatives. Don't. And if you had any family members living at Preston Place from 2015 to 2018, 19, and they were doing fine one day and then the next day they were dead, go get an investigation because it could be linked. They are finding out that there is more than 24 victims, y'all. There could be so many more. We don't know. This man has been doing this for some time. And he has been bam, 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 bam. One after another. This doesn't just start. This happens. I'm curious to know how many victims he actually has. Now, I know this says allegedly. This article was from some time ago. But let me tell you, the medical examiner, they've been linking Billy to these crimes. So we pretty much know, we have to say allegedly, but we basically know it's Billy. Now, I'm going to tell you, I can't imagine how these families are feeling right now because it's hard enough when you have an elderly family member who doesn't want to be a burden because they always feel like a burden. They built our country. They are the reason we are here. It is our duty to protect our elderly, just like we protect our babies. They once raised us. They raised us from a baby. I am just blown away. You pay someone $3,000 or more a month to be in a protected, gated community. And when people start to have break-ins, they don't tell nobody. That is so negligent, and they should be sued. Then, the fact that Billy is dressing up, allegedly, I have to say allegedly, but the killer is dressing up, we do know this for a fact, as medical professionals, doctors, custodials, cafeteria workers, janitors. The serial killer is literally dressing up in fake outfits and walking up to people's apartments and residents' rooms and saying, oh, well, good morning, I got to get the trash out, and then grabbing a pillow and smothering them and stealing their stuff. That is so terrifying. Even in the lower paid rest homes, they check badges. I just can't get over the whole they don't have badges and ID cards thing. I'm sorry I'm ranting about that, but I just can't understand that. We had them. The lawsuit states the management was aware of suspicious activities going back to September 2015 and that both Conklin and Williams' deaths could have been prevented. I believe that too. Because had they reported and had the rest home told everybody and got a police report and got a police detective out there, they may have caught him. Because he would have kept lurking around because he was scoping the place out. He was trying to find somebody to attack. And if the rest home had done their damn job, they could have gotten a good security officer or a good police, officer, something. They could have warned everybody, hey, there's some kind of suspicious activity going on. Lock your doors. Don't talk to people you don't know. We're going to get ID badges. But they did not do that, unfortunately. And It ain't just Preston Place either, several rest homes. Ann Conklin was allegedly robbed and then suffocated by Billy Chimere on March 18th. Wow. Now the last death was March the 4th. This is March the 18th. This ain't even 2 weeks later. March the 4th to March the 18th. Literally days. He's jumping to the next victim. This guy will not stop. This serial killer will not stop. This is like the Lumberton serial killer. They have an urge, a need to kill. It's not just about the money and the jewelry. It's the holding someone's life in their hand, that power. They get off on it. Let me tell you something. This serial killer, Billy Chimere, was pawning the jewelry at the pawn shops. Do you know you can take a $4,000 ring to a pawn shop and they'll barely give you a couple $100? They will Jew you down to the point that they'll say, I'm losing money on this deal. You know, I can't go too much higher. So he's literally out here killing people for $30, $40 and some cash. That's so disgusting and evil. So we have a map here, and it shows, okay, the lawsuit says Conklin was the last of 7 elderly women killed by Chimere between 2017 and 18 in the senior living community, in this community. Now, y'all, the numbers have went up since these articles, so we don't know for sure yet. We got to wait till they get done investigating. List of 7 women allegedly killed by Chimere at Preston Place. Now, this is just at Preston Place. Minnie Campbell was killed October 31st. Diana Della Huntley was killed December the 5th. Mamie Del Mia, December the 8th. Literally 3 days. December the 5th, December the 8th. Jane Doe, December the 10th. 2 days later, Miriam Nelson, March 9th. Martha Williams, March 4th. Ann Conklin, March 18th. He's killing people back to back to back to back. He's not scared of getting caught. He had found a little routine that he was able to get away with. You know, he figured, and he probably seen that shit in the movies where they smother people, but where you messed up was DNA, buddy. That's where you messed up. Now we have all this DNA that if you so much as drop a follicle off of your face, they can find it if they look hard enough. But see, the problem was the rest homes were saying natural causes, and that's what they put on the death certificate. The medical examiner goes back and checks the bodies and finds out, no, wait a minute, this is suspicious. It's murder. So they put it on the death certificate as murder or suspicious. Get this mess. They didn't even notify the families of the victims when they changed the death certificates. They did not even notify the families. The families had to find out on Facebook. How messed up is that? That you're scrolling through Facebook one day and all of a sudden you see something that says, well, such and such was killed by Billy Chimere. And you're like, wait a minute, that's my mama. That's my grandma. That's my mama. What do you mean she was killed by a serial killer? Because the rest home didn't call the victims' families? Police didn't? Nothing. They had to find out through Facebook. So there are many, many cases. If you had elderly family members in the Texas area that you think something went on and you noticed their jewelry was missing, the cash, the safes, and you think something suspicious was going on because they were fine the day before and then they were just dead of natural causes, call an investigator. Get an investigation going because this man possibly has more than 24 cases, okay? Well, if you think this is crazy, check it out.